Spendthrift Farm introduces new for 2019, the Safe Bet Program. Breed to a fourth-year stallion and watch his first crop of 2-year-olds have measurable success on the track in 2019, or you won't owe the stud fee when your foal is born. Visit spendthriftfarm.com/safebet to learn more. Spendthrift, the breeder's farm. Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Nicole, Russo. Welcome to Keeneland Babies, presented by Spendthrift, the breeder's farm. Wednesday's Keeneland Babies race kicks off the pick 6. It's race number 3. We're obviously going 4.5 furlongs. It's a maiden special weight for 2-year-old fillies. And as we check out the field of runners, Spendthrift is represented by the number 3, Magic Credit. Magic Credit is sired by Spendthrift's rock-solid stallion, Flat Out. Not surprisingly, Nicole, Wesley Ward has the 2 morning line favorites in here. Both of them will look quick. The number 11, Anna's Fast, 2-1 on the morning line. The number 2, Ms. Headley, 5-2 on the morning line. But we'll take this field in program number order, beginning with the number 1, Misunderstanding. And Misunderstanding has a really solid pedigree. Tale of a Cotty is a good first-time starter stallion, and there's a lot of speed on the bottom of this pedigree.
Yeah, there really is. I think the Dam One sprinting, she's a half to a stakes winner. It's the female family of Hennessy, who is obviously a very fast horse and very fast juvenile in his own right. A solid, the trainer usually takes a race or two to get them going, but a really solid work tab, I think, under this filly.
And as you always say on Keeneland Babies, and I'll mention it this time, you want to check out the Keeneland Clocker Report that we produce on DRF.com. They'll give you an in-depth look at how many of these horses have been working. I know that April 3rd work out of the gate came in company with Salty Snapper, who debuted for this barn with a pretty good 4th place finish on April the 18th. But you did mention that this Rice barn likes to give him a race or two, so I'll take a wait-and-see approach now for the 1, Misunderstanding. Her coupled stablemate is the 1A. That is Twila Mae, a $5,000 yearling. New Year's Day has done pretty well with 2-year-old first-time starters, but I look at this bottom of the pedigree, the broodmare sire, Kitten's Joy, many of the dam's relatives. I'm thinking turf and maybe a little more distance later on.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that's definitely what the Kitten's Joys want to do. So I see him there as the broodmare sire. New Year's Day was a good 2-year-old and 2-year-old sire, but some of his runners, maximum security among them, have gotten better as they've moved into their 3-year-old years. So yeah, the overall impression here is that this one's going to need a little bit of time.
Breaking from the rail is the number 2, Miss Headley. Again, one of 2 in here, trained by the great Wesley Ward. This is the first starter by the Big Beast. And let's talk a little bit about this first crop stallion and what we should expect.
Well, I mean, the Big Beast was aptly named. He was just such an impressive physical in his own right. But despite being a big, growthy horse, he had some speed. He was sort of a late-running sprinter type, really found his home around one turn, winning the King's Bishop at Saratoga. And I think some of his first foals have inherited his speed. He's had some really fast workers at these 2-year-old and training sales early this year who seem to have inherited his impressive physicals as well. I'm really interested to see how these horses do as they start hitting the track.
Miss Headley, one of those quick workers, only selling for $20,000 last month, but breezed 2 furlongs in 20-4, and a pretty quick bullet workout in company with the uncoupled stablemate that we'll get to in a bit. Anna's First, that was at Keeneland on April the 15th. Ward is amazing, as we know, with these first-time starters. He's 15 for his last 25 in 4.5 furlong maiden special weights at Keeneland with debut runners. The number 3 is Magic Credit, this one by Spendthrift stallion Flat Out. Flat Out doing very well with 2-year-old first-time starters. And who would have predicted that? Because Flat Out loved a distance of ground. He was a classy horse, but I think he's just a racehorse sire. He wins 16% with 2-year-old first-time starters. This one, I look like at these workouts, a couple of them were a little bit on the slow side, and I wonder if this filly might need a race.
I think she might, but man, you hit the nail on the head. Flat Out really was just a pleasant surprise with his 2-year-old first-time starters when they began running a couple of years ago. Flat Out, had some brilliance in his own right, winning races like the Cigar Mile, but really wanted to go long, won 2 editions of the Jockey Club Gold Cup, just a hard-knocking racehorse, and his foals really came out running earlier, which surprised me.
Interesting mixture in this pedigree for the next runner, the number 4, Many More Promises. This one's by Algorithms. 19%, excellent first-time starter stallion. Many more promises sold for $19,000. The dam in her career debut as a 2-year-old won a 7.5 furlong turf stakes race at Louisiana Downs. She also could step on the dirt. She was grade 3 placed on that surface. There is a lot of turf in this family, but this trainer-jockey combination has already done well at this meet with first-time starters. I believe they scored with Alec and Arthur. Maybe many more promises as sort of a surprise package at 10-1 on the morning line.
You know, she might be, and I think you're going to have to watch the board a little bit on her, see if people take notice, you know, of the John Hancock barn. More Than Ready, you know, the broodmare sire promised me more, just a multi-purpose sire, so it doesn't surprise me that the dam could run on both. And yeah, like you said, I think just a really fascinating combination here in pedigree. I'm wondering if this one might want a little bit more distance. You know, you mentioned the dam winning at 7.5, and Algorithms by Bernardini, of course, a little bit more of a distance-oriented line there, but Algorithm's a good first-time starter sire, as you say, so I see no reason why this one couldn't fire first out.
The number 5, Thirsty American Gal, is one of 2 in here trained by Chasey DeVille, and this one has a nice pedigree. She's a half to a multiple stakes winning dirt sprinter named Boston Express, who earned a 106 Beyer top in his career, and this dam has foaled 6 winners from 11 runners. She's a half to a graded stakes winning turf router. Nice pedigree here, a little bit light on the work tab at Evangeline Downs. These stay thirsty sometimes need a race.
Yeah, I think so. He's done well with his 2-year-olds. Of course, had the hopeful winner last year. He was a good 2-year-old himself. But, you know, when I look at the work tab here, I do think that perhaps this one is going to race, you know, to get the experience and race into fitness. The same can be said of the other stablemate.
The number 6, Senorita Guzman, was a vet scratch on April the 10th. This is the first starter by Constitution, a multiple grade 1 winner down at Gulfstream Park going long. What can we expect from the Constitutions?
Well, you know, Constitution was a multiple grade 1 winner going long, but he did it with brilliance, firing those outstanding Beyer speed figures at Gulfstream. Of course, Tappet has been an outstanding 2-year-old sire, you know, with those 2-year-old champions like Stardom Bound, Hanson, Constitution, just another one. You know, this freshman class is so deep where I say he's an outstanding physical. I think he got the best, you know, balance, the best of the balance and stride from Tappet. You know, I really expect him to be a nice sire. And yes, Senorita Guzman was expected to be Constitution's first starter a couple of weeks ago when you mentioned that she was a late scratch. She was very fractious in the paddock. A couple of them were that day. Wound up dropping her rider in the post parade and biting her tongue in the process. And just a little bit of blood in her mouth was what led to the vet scratch. You know, so I think they have her, you know, sitting on ready now. I think you're just going to want to watch her, you know, in the paddock and post parade to see if she did benefit from kind of that aborted experience or if she's still a little green out there.
A lot of distance on the bottom of this pedigree as well. The dam won the Wonder Wear Stakes, going 1.25 miles on turf at Woodbine. She's a half to academic, a very long-winded stakes-winning router in Western Canada. I wonder if maybe this one wants a little bit more distance. The 7, You Got a Notion, is the second Chasey DeVille trained starter in the race. She is an Oklahoma bred by Notional, who's acceptable with 2-year-old first-time starters. I think the other Chasey DeVille horse has a little bit more pedigree.
I think so when it comes to, you know, a first start here. Looking at, you know, Notional is okay with his 2-year-olds. The dam here, I think, was a distance runner. I think this one's going to want some more distance. And like the stablemate, you know, only 3 works, a little bit light there. I think they're racing this one into fitness, and this one's going to need a couple of races and definitely some more distance down the line.
The number 8 is Topless. This is an Iowa bred by Successful Appeal, and I think we have to celebrate Successful Appeal's success over the years. I mean, this is a long and large sample size for Successful Appeal, and he's still hitting at 18% with 2-year-old first-time starters. He simply throws precocious sorts. Topless, a $12,000 yearling. Now, the dam only went 4 for 76 in her career, but she earned over $100,000, and she's a half to a stakes-winning dirt sprinter. This one goes out for trainer Steve Asmussen, who's 2 for his last 7 in 4.5 furlong maiden special weights at Keeneland with first-time starters. Both of those winners with Florent Giroux aboard. Flo is aboard here. I think Topless is an interesting alternative to the favorites.
I think, definitely. I mean, you talked about successful appeal, and gosh, he is just a stone cold racehorse sire, and the dam just a stone cold racehorse herself. I mean, to stay sound and racing fit, and to make the 70 plus starts and to earn six figures the hard way. I mean, what a tough race mare.
We'll move on to the number 9, Sooey, who's one of 2 first-time starters in this race by first crop stallion Fast Anna, and Fast Anna lived up to his name.
He definitely did. A regally bred horse by Medaglia d'Oro out of champion 2-year-old filly Dreaming of Anna. Fast Anna was grade 1 placed, showed a ton of speed. Really, built kind of like a distance horse, which surprises me. He's really a long, leggy type of horse that you think would go a route of ground, and was, perhaps bred to go a route of ground, but did his best running around one turn. He's another one who's had some fast workers at these 2-year-old sales. Just had a juvenile fire a bullet for a quarter mile the other day at the OBS Spring Breeze Show for that sale that begins today. So they've definitely inherited some speed, but I'm wondering if they're going to go longer stretching out. And this one, Sooey, being out of an Empire Maker mare and only having 2 works for the Ben Colebrook barn, I think this is another one that's, here to get her feet wet, is going to need a start or two.
The dam has foaled a couple of 2-year-old winners thus far, and we see she is a half to a few stakes winning dirt sprinters. Colebrook has had a winner in a 4.5 furlong Keeneland baby race over the past few years, but you make a good point with only 2 workouts on the tab. The 10 is Clum Giffen, and if you believe experience counts, Clum Giffen, well, she has a race. And I thought it was a race that was a little bit better than it looked on paper, Nicole. She was actually bet down to 8-1 into the teeth of the very impressive Ward first-time starter Lady Pauline. She actually broke well and showed some speed, and when Lady Pauline crossed in front of her, I think it bothered Clum Giffen a little bit, and she shuffled back down towards the inside, and after that she was out sprinted. I think she'll benefit from this experience. She's the dam's first foal. This is the family of Secret Status who wanted to go a little bit longer. I like this rider change to James Graham as well from a 10-pound bug.
I think so as well. I think it's an upgrade. This is a really nice pedigree on this filly, also being by Tail of the Cat, who's an outstanding filly sire. I do think that race back on April 5th was a good learning experience, a good learning race. Has come back to work pretty solidly since then. And I think this one's an intriguing candidate at a little bit of a price.
And completing our field is the second Wesley Ward trained first-time starter, the number 11, Anna's Fast. And talk about a pinhook success. A $32,500 yearling selling for $470,000 last month after breezing a furlong in an explosive 9-4. This dam won 10 races, including the career debut. The second dam was Fast, debut winner, stakes place sprinting on dirt. It's a Ward first-time starter. What's not to like?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I mentioned a little bit, sires are only half. I mentioned that the other Fast Anna might want to go a little bit longer, but this one crossing speed on speed. I think this one, obviously one of those fast-working Fast Annas that we discussed. I think this one inherited all the speed.
We kick off the Pick 6 with race number 3 at Keeneland on Wednesday, our Keeneland Baby event. Who do you like?
Well, it really wouldn't surprise me at all if we had another freshman sire getting off the mark with a winner here, as we talked about, the strong Wesley Ward duo, where he's got one by Fast Anna, who's just, shown speed already in her Breeze Show, and the one by the Big Beast. But I am going to look at Clum Giffen a little bit as a price, either to upset those two should something go wrong. There's not a lot of time for things to go wrong at 4.5 furlongs, or as a price behind them. I do think she's going to learn a good bit from that race, and we mentioned the rider upgrade.
I'm going to take a chance against the Ward duo, although, as you say, we wouldn't be surprised if one of them runs another gigantic race for this barn. I think Topless is going to run well for Steve Asmus, and another successful appeal. I'm expecting a lot of precocity, a couple of nice workouts with Florent Giroux aboard. So Topless will be my top selection to upset the Wards, but boy, you have to beware of Wesley, and I guess you got to use them both in the Pick 6. That's our Keeneland Baby race for Wednesday. We've got 2 coming up on Thursday, and all of our Keeneland Babies coverage this meet has been presented by Spendthrift, the Breeders' Farm.